All right, I'm not going to go super in-depth in this, but I think it's really important to set your guys, and I'm not saying that I'm the smartest person in the world or that I have the most money or anything like that. I do think about money, I think, differently than most people, and what that's allowed me to do is live a very fun life while continuing to increase my income without having to increase the amount of time that I work, and while not having to do a bunch of shit that I hate. And I think that's really what everybody's after. So many people, I want to be a billionaire. Why? Would you be unhappy if you were a 950 millionaire? It's not enough, bro. I need those 3 commas. Tres commas, you know? So I think it's important to think about how you actually make money, not just that you make money. So the first level of earning is getting paid for your time, right? Getting paid for your time is the thing that we have been taught since our childhood. You get paid hourly to mow lawns. You get paid to go to your first job at whatever place it is. When you get a real job at some point, you typically get a salary, which is still measured in time. So we have been taught, everybody says it, time is money. Time is not money. There is no relationship. Any relationship between time and money is something we have made up and that is mainly taught from our society that is not real. There are people, Elon Musk made $13.4 billion the other day because Bitcoin went up, because they put, 7% of their balance sheet they held in crypto, and he became the richest man in the world because of one little decision. One little strategy turned his company, Tesla, which, by the way, is fundamentally flawed in their, balance sheet and shit, but because they have crypto, boom, richest man in the world. Right? It took him days to become the richest man in the world, and it takes other people an entire lifetime just to make $1 million. Any relationship with time and money is made up. Okay, so the first way to get paid is to get paid for your time. The second way is to get paid per project, or what we would call doing. So getting paid to do something. So this would be, hey, I get paid hourly to mow lawns, and instead you say, hey, I'm going to charge you $10 to mow your lawn. Whether it takes me 15 minutes or 45 minutes, the price is the price. So this is, and I'll use email copywriting as an example throughout this just because it's easy and some of you will understand that. It's going from, getting paid hourly as a writer, by the way, is what I started out doing. It was horrible. I got paid $20 an hour, and it was very weird because I'd be like, well, I was thinking about stuff in the shower. Do I bill for that? I was reading this book about this topic. Do I bill for that? And I'd feel guilty. I'd feel uncomfortable. So I finally went and I said, hey, I want this amount per month. I don't want to be doing this hourly stuff. It makes me uncomfortable. And that made a huge difference for me. But that's that transition from, it doesn't matter if it takes me 30 minutes or 3 hours, the fee is the fee. Right? So that's the second level. The third level is getting paid to manage. So managing would be getting paid to manage the people that do the things, who either do stuff or get paid hourly. Right? So an easy example is to think about construction, right? Or building a shopping mall or something like that, right? You've got your workers who are hourly construction workers who show up and they're going to get paid based on how much they work. They may get paid well, but if they're not working, they're not getting paid. Now the second level might be that, a person who's like, yeah, we're going to do this bedroom, and the bedroom's $5,000, whether it takes us a week or probably more like, 19 weeks, based on how effective contractors tend to be. And then the third level person is the guy who's managing those people. That might be the contractor who comes in and he makes sure everybody gets their shit done. Right? That's the third level of earning. The fourth level is getting paid to think. And so even if you think within your business, if you're like me and you're the person who's still writing the emails, who's doing most of the big things that need to be done in the business as far as creation, really a decent portion of my time is in that second level of earning. I'm getting paid to do stuff. I'm still working constantly on getting better at delegating and moving into that third level. But within my own company, I have to do shit in order to make more money. Now, the goal typically is then to move into this place of thinking, right, where my thoughts make me money. So if we look at it from a consulting perspective, I can say, hey, I'll charge you $25,000 to write your sales letter, or I'll charge you, whether it's $2,000 an hour or it's just a consulting fee. I want to come in and say, I'm not going to do anything. I will give you my thoughts, and what you do with those is up to you. That's the fourth level. I much prefer that these days because I don't want to go do a bunch of things. I want to get paid because as you get better and better at your skill or whatever it is, your thoughts become more and more valuable. As your thoughts become more valuable, people will pay you more and more for them. So that fourth level is getting paid to think. No doing, just thinking. Hey, you guys should do this. And it may take me 10 minutes to tell somebody, and Matt, I'm going to have you tell your story tomorrow about what I told you to do and how ridiculous that was. But all I did was give him a thought, and I'm not going to ruin it now, but it made him a decent sum. But that's the difference, right? I couldn't have given him that same thought 8 years ago because I probably wouldn't have understood what I understand now, right? So that's the fourth level. Now the fifth level is a small but really, really important thing to understand the difference of. It's getting paid to imagine. Who wants to guess what the difference is between thinking and imagining?
You don't have to come up with anything specific, like Steve Jobs. You figure out how to do this. I'm going to tell you what I want, you figure it out.
Great example. And I'll repeat it because at some point we'll have to give out the mics and stuff. It basically said like Steve Jobs, who didn't say anything specific. That's actually one of the best examples. Steve Jobs is kind of a dick. I know he's dead, but he's kind of a dick. Great dresser, right? Incredible turtlenecks, and New Balance shoes. I mean, come on. That guy is a fashion icon. Denim, New Balance, black turtleneck. Whenever I see other people do that nowadays, by the way, I'm like, do you think you're original? Like, people do like, look at me, I'm a creative. And you're like, no, bro, you're just doing Steve Jobs shit. He didn't die that long ago. We know what he looked like. But basically, Steve Jobs was like, hey, I want 10,000 songs in your pocket. And they're like, well, we can't do that, Steve. He's like, don't care. I'm going to lunch. Fucking figure it out. They're like, that's an insane idea. He's like, I know. That's why I had it. And then they fucking did it. And then he went up and presented and was like, hey, guys, look at this shit. In your pocket, 10,000 songs. Let's go. I'm rich now. Right? He just got paid to think, and he got paid to imagine. There's a difference. So what happens is there's the person who imagines. And another example, let's take construction again, right? So let's say the person who gets paid to think in construction would probably be the architect, right? The person who now has to think, how is this going to be built? What is it going to look like? They have to sit down, draw it out, and say, this is what it's going to be. But there was a person above that person who drove past a field. Let's take Walt Disney as an example, right? He's driving down the highway in California. He looks to the right, and there's a bunch of orange trees. And every other person, millions of people who drove down that road, go, oh, look, orange trees. And Walt Disney went, that's a fucking theme park. That is a theme park. All he did was imagine that, and then he made a bunch of other people do a bunch of crazy stuff. What's fascinating about Disney, too, is if you've ever been to any of the Disney properties, you can't see any of the outside world. So if you go to Magic Mountain, there's fences. You can see the rest of the world around you. If you go to theme parks, you can see everything else. At Disneyland, they build everything to the exact height so that from any part of the theme park, no matter where you stand, no matter where you walk, you cannot see the outside world. So that you completely become immersed. So that you can use your imagination, so that you spend more money. Right? And what they actually did, what's fascinating about California, what is it called? California Dreamland? Adventure, yeah. Still concussion syndrome. We got to do some ketamine, bro. Basically, what they did at California Adventure was you used to be able to see the outside world. And it didn't do that well. And they had to rebuild it, and what they ended up doing is they put Cars Land in there, which that ride, by the way, is fucking great. If you're going to go to Disneyland, get the early bird pass, go hit Cars like 2 or 3 times before the rest of the park opens. It's worth it. Yes, I did this recently. This is not from my childhood. But what they did is they built up the whole park around it so that you can't see the rest of the world again. And that's the difference between the Disneys and the Steve Jobs. But even on a smaller level, it's the person who drives by an empty parking lot and goes, that's a shopping mall. They're imagining. The person who imagines goes and gets the person who thinks to get the people who manage to get the people who do the things. Right? So these are the levels you work through. If you think about Warren Buffett is not sitting in his office on E-Trade buying and selling shit. Right? He's not there executing trades. He's going, wouldn't it be interesting if we owned the entire steel industry? He goes, why don't you guys go figure out how we can do that? And that's what happens. Right? So that's the difference between thinking and imagining. The sixth level is where you get paid to be rich, where your wealth just makes you richer. Pretty simple, not a lot of explanation there. That's really what happens. You get paid to be a richer person. And the seventh level of earning, anybody want to guess this, by the way? You get a potato. Boom. Purple potato for you. Those are worth extra. They're not. They're all the same. I don't want to judge based on color or size. It's 2021, you guys. Okay? Seriously. Okay, the seventh level. Anybody want to guess what the seventh level of earning is? We're going to do hand raises because you guys in the front are getting real eager up here. Who wants to guess? Do you want to raise your hand, Jake? Paid to... Oh, you've already been through it. Yeah, okay. Good job. You get paid to be yourself. This is where your thoughts, your presence, your simple way of being is inherently valuable to other people. If you think about celebrities and rich people, literally, people pay Kim Kardashian, well, now it's probably more than that, $100,000 just to come to their place. Dan Bilzerian, hey, $100,000 if you'll come to our bar. Just getting paid to do the shit he wants to do, right? And that's obviously an extreme example, but the idea here in the seventh level is that you're just doing the things that you really want to do, and you're getting paid. The other way I've put this is that you're getting paid to breathe, right? Where your existence is inherently valuable for other people, and where wealth is being created simply because you exist.